Michael Thompson, the multimillionaire owner of Thompson Industries, was renowned for his ruthless business acumen and icy demeanor. But one day, while on his daily commute, he spotted something that melted his cold heart. It was an ordinary day in the bustling metropolis. Michael, impeccably dressed in a tailored suit, his expensive watch gleaming under his jacket, navigated the crowded streets with his usual air of importance. He barely spared a glance at the beggars who sought his attention, or the homeless people who shared their sad stories. He had heard it all before, and nothing could penetrate the wall around his heart. As he approached his office building, ready to dive into another day of sealing deals and raking in profits, he saw a sight that stopped him in his tracks. It was a woman. She wasn't just any woman. There was a raw, almost desperate energy about her that drew his attention. And then he saw the child. The little girl, no more than 3 years old, was attempting to take her first unsteady steps. Her eyes were wide with determination, her tiny legs moving with surprising strength. What tugged at Michael's heartstrings was the woman's gentle coaxing, not in a harsh or impatient voice, but with such tenderness that made him pause and reflect. It was the kind of patience and devotion he had never witnessed before. This scene unfolded right outside the towering glass doors of his office. He could have easily turned away, pretending not to see, but something compelled him to stop. As he watched, he saw the girl stumble and teeter. Her small frame trembled, threatening to collapse. But with a soft word from the woman and a reassuring pat, she regained her balance and took another step. It was a simple act, yet it filled Michael with a sense of awe. For a moment, the bustling city around him faded away. All that mattered was the tiny figure in front of him, her face etched with concentration, her will to stand and walk, mirroring the grit that had driven him to success. In that moment, he realized he had been so caught up in his own life's race that he had forgotten the simple joys, the small victories that defined life. He watched as the girl, flushed with exertion, finally managed to take a whole step forward. A radiant smile lit up her face, as bright and pure as the midday sun. The woman in turn broke into a relieved smile, her eyes shining with unshed tears. For a man who prided himself on his emotional reserve, this scene was a stark reminder of the depth of emotions he had buried. As he continued to observe them from a distance, he couldn't help but feel a pang of longing. He remembered a time when life's challenges seemed surmountable, and hope was a constant companion. Somewhere along his journey to success, he had lost that perspective. The sight of the destitute woman and her child had awakened something within him, a dormant part of his soul that had yearned for recognition and appreciation. In the quiet solitude of his high-rise office, Michael found himself wrestling with a myriad of emotions. The image of the girl's determined face, her innocent eyes mirroring the unwavering spirit that resided within, left an indelible mark on his psyche. He grappled with a sudden surge of empathy, understanding the profound depths of the mother's love and the sheer willpower it took for them to persevere through their hardships. It was a stark contrast to the sterile, predictable world he inhabited. The monotonous routine of board meetings and financial reports suddenly seemed trivial. In light of the resilience he had witnessed, as the hours passed, he couldn't shake off the memory of their struggle, the girl's infectious laughter echoing in his ears long after he had seen them. The weight of his own sheltered existence pressed down on him. He realized he had lived a life of calculated decisions, every move meticulously planned to ensure success. But in doing so, he had inadvertently shut himself off from the raw, unfiltered experiences that made life truly rich. Driven by a newfound sense of purpose, Michael decided to take action. He couldn't bring back the years he had lost, but he could start now. The thought of the girl taking her first steps echoed in his mind, urging him to break free from the confines of his self-imposed isolation. He began with small, almost tentative steps, reaching out to charities he had previously ignored, donating not just money, but his time and effort. He organized clothing drives, food banks, and most importantly, job fairs, offering opportunities to those who had been overlooked for far too long. As he engaged with the community, he felt a sense of fulfillment he had never experienced in the boardroom. The smiles he saw, the gratitude in people's eyes, became his greatest reward. He even revisited the spot where he had first seen the girl and her mother, hoping to catch another glimpse of their progress. When he found them, the sight that greeted him brought tears to his eyes. The girl, with newfound confidence, was skipping along the sidewalk, her laughter ringing out like music. The woman, noticing Michael's gaze, smiled, her eyes filled with kindness rather than the desperation he had seen before. He wanted to approach them, to tell them how their quiet struggle had changed him, but he hesitated. He knew that their lives were filled with challenges, and he didn't want to be a distraction. So he did the only thing he could. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his card, his fingers trembling slightly. On it, his name and contact information. He walked up to them and handed it to the woman, hoping she understood what it meant. Then, tears brimming in his eyes, he turned and walked away. He didn't need their gratitude, he told himself, wiping away the tears that had unexpectedly sprung forth. His only hope was that the card would open doors for them, providing a lifeline to a better life. As he disappeared into the crowd, The woman looked at the card in her hand, her eyes shining with understanding. She knew who he was. Michael Thompson, the tycoon with a heart of stone, or so they had said. But today, looking at the sincere concern on his face, she saw a glimmer of hope. She looked down at her daughter, who was still skipping merrily, oblivious to the changes that were about to take place in their lives. The card was a beacon, promising a chance at a different future, and she held on to it tightly, her heart swelling with gratitude. News of Michael's transformation spread like wildfire through the community. People talked in hushed tones about the once distant billionaire who had become their champion, using his vast wealth and influence to lift them up. There were, of course, those who were skeptical, who labeled him a publicity seeker or a fraud. But the genuine change he brought into people's lives spoke volumes. He wasn't trying to buy their adoration. He was investing in their futures. And in the end, it was this sincerity, this genuine desire to make a difference that won people over. The girl and her mother were among the first to benefit from Michael's new mission. With the help of his network, they were given access to quality healthcare, education, and most importantly, a roof over their heads. But it wasn't just about material support. Michael, now a regular fixture at community events, became a source of inspiration. His story, a testament to the power of human connection, resonated with people from all walks of life. He might have started with the intention of atoning for his past, but he ended up creating a legacy. Looking back at the girl who had unknowingly changed his life, Michael realized that it wasn't just her steps that had captured his attention all those months ago. It was the spirit in her eyes, the indomitable will to keep going, that had stirred something deep within him. He had seen countless business deals go south and come back around, but this was a different kind of turnaround. This was redemption. The sight of the girl skipping along the sidewalk, her laughter echoing in the air, became a symbol of his journey. He went on to establish numerous foundations, each dedicated to making a positive impact on the world. The once emotionless tycoon was now known for his generosity and compassion, his name synonymous with hope. As the years passed, Michael's story continued to evolve. He remained in the business world, but now he incorporated social responsibility into his corporate strategy. His companies became known not just for their products and services, but also for their ethical practices and community involvement. He mentored young entrepreneurs, guiding them to success while instilling values of empathy and service. He hosted summits, bringing together leaders from various sectors to discuss ways to address global issues. His transformation didn't go unnoticed. He received numerous awards and honors, each one a testament to the profound change he had brought into the lives of countless people. Yet, for Michael, the greatest reward was the love and respect he saw in the eyes of those he had helped. He might have stumbled upon that fateful day, but it was the universe's way of nudging him onto a path he was destined to walk. The destitute woman and her child had shown him the way, reminding him of the humanity he had almost forgotten. And so, the tale of Michael Thompson, the tycoon who dared to dream of a better world, became a legend, inspiring generations to come.